Some of the most popular career advice out there is flat out wrong. So it's leading you in the wrong direction. And here's why. It's coming from people without the hands-on experience. So it's like giving ATS advice from somebody who's never used an ATS. So would you take advice about flying a plane from someone who's read the manual or the actual pilot? Obviously the pilot. So even if the advice is so convincing and compelling, it's costing you interviews, which is then costing you the job that you want. So the topics I'm referring to in this video comes from my own hands-on experience. So today I'm breaking down the real truth straight from a former recruiter of 15 years. My name is Sarah Camillo, and I'm a certified career coach and certified resume writer, again with 15 years of recruiting experience. Welcome to part one of my two-part series on bad job search advice that's holding you back, otherwise known as the advice that annoys me whenever I read it online. So bad advice number one, using LinkedIn Easy Apply makes you look lazy. That is completely untrue. And let's dig into this more. I'm going to share some of the pros and cons of the LinkedIn Easy Apply button, as well as what the button actually does. So some pros include that it's extremely efficient, right? Just make sure that you are attaching your resume from your settings. So what I mean by this is you click the Easy Apply button, and then there's another little button that you can say attach my resume. Well, if your resume is in the right place in your settings, it takes it from there and includes it in your job application. Otherwise, the recruiter only sees your LinkedIn profile. So here's where you go. Click the little down arrow by your name in LinkedIn. Go to the settings and privacies, then job seeking preferences, and then job application settings, and that's where you'll be able to upload your resume. I do recommend uploading it in a PDF, but it doesn't matter what the format is. So that is the main benefit of the LinkedIn Easy Apply button. It makes job applications so much easier and faster versus spending an hour applying for a job. And then for the employers, they're able to attract more candidates because people are able to work faster and apply for more jobs using that button. And then it allows the employers to maybe get a glimpse into other candidates who maybe wouldn't have applied otherwise. All right, let's talk about some of the cons. So when you use the LinkedIn Easy Apply button, you're not able to attach more documents with your resume. So if you really love your cover letter or you have some other documents you typically include with your resume and job applications, you just won't have that option. So it lacks a little customization with your application if that's something that matters to you. In my opinion, you don't need the extra documents. It's more important getting your application into the system, but that's just my opinion. So now why is this Easy Apply button only an option for some jobs out there? Okay, here's why. When a company meets with LinkedIn to say, hey, we post 400 jobs a month, we would like to take 200 of those jobs and allow them to have the Easy Apply button. Employers buy different packages with LinkedIn to determine which ones they want on the regular job application board versus some that have the Easy Apply button. So again, an employer looks at it as, let's get some more people into this job application. We know we're going to get more applicants by using that button, so let's see who else applies. So the bottom line here is, using the Easy Apply button does not make you lazy at all. It's used more as like a tracking opportunity for some employers out there. So don't avoid it. Don't be afraid of the Easy Apply button. Just make sure you do what? Attach your resume. Bad advice number two, you must apply for a job within 24 hours of its posting, otherwise you won't get seen. Okay, if this were true, that would mean that recruiters post a job and then they just stare at the screen and have the job folder open all day waiting for people to apply and then never look again after 24 hours. And that is not at all how recruiters work. In fact, recruiters have candidate pipelines for various jobs, especially if they've recruited for marketing for a while, for example, they're going to have their own list of marketing managers that they want to reach out to when another marketing manager job opens up. So they have their pipelines on the side. They're also going to LinkedIn to look at new applicants too. And then they review new applicants every day or maybe every other day in the folder, sometimes for a few weeks. And also, if speed really mattered like this, then AI would not be doing what AI is supposed to do for ATSs today. For the AI technology to be effective in an ATS, they need a few days or maybe a couple of weeks for applicants to come in, applying for jobs, so that AI can go in and rank them effectively. So today, if I were job searching and I saw a job I was really interested in, as long as it was open for less than 30 days, I would still apply because you never know. It's not too late. So the bottom line, you do not need to apply within 24 hours of a job being posted, but you do need a strong resume and a solid profile. So do you want to put off applying for a week? No, you still want to apply quickly. But if you notice that a job has been posted for a week or two, you're not too late to apply. Just get it in as quickly as possible then. Bad advice number 3, referrals are the only way to get a job today. Now that may have felt true in 2024, but it's not true anymore. So in 2024, it was all about who you knew, who you used to work with, who do you know who knows somebody, things like that. 2025 has definitely been more of a blend of still getting referred. That definitely still gives you a little bit of priority, but it's also been a blend of using LinkedIn and some other methods to apply for jobs today. A huge source of the way my candidates have gotten jobs lately has been through LinkedIn. I've had clients get hired at PayPal, Family Dollar, Google, Salesforce, Steel Peak Wealth, and a few other companies, all by having their LinkedIn profile optimized and recruiters reaching out to them directly. And because of that, I have actually created a brand new, all-inclusive LinkedIn Pro Tip Guide. It's going to be linked below. Check that out if you feel like I need a new job in 2026 or ASAP. This guide will walk you through optimizing your profile, reaching out to recruiters online, actually giving you scripts, when to post, what to post, how to use AI, so much more. So check that out. And if you're thinking, I hate social media or I hate LinkedIn, whatever you're thinking right now, believe me, I've never been one to want to say you need to be an influencer on LinkedIn to get a job. However, I do recommend if you're able to start posting once a week, some kind of consistent schedule, you will see an uptick in people looking at your profile and a little bit more activity. If you're able to post, if you're able to comment, I truly believe commenting is kind of the new in-mails. We're getting flooded with so much outreach day to day that commenting more often, letting recruiters and your target companies see your name a little bit more, you're going to get more eyes on your profile and it will work for you. Again, that's why I built this guide. I want to make it as easy as possible for you as the job seeker. I'm going to try to make this a little fun too. Try to think of LinkedIn as like the networking event you don't have to dress up for. You can go to in your pajamas. You can attend from your bed or your couch, wherever you want to be. Think of it like a networking event. You want to reach out, you do want to message people, and I'm telling you, commenting is going to be more and more effective. And the more you do it, the more often you do it, the easier it'll be, the faster you'll get, the more comfortable you'll get on the platform. One other reason for this is because companies want to hire people who are comfortable on social media, comfortable on LinkedIn, so they can build their own presence on there as well. Bad advice number 4. If I can get past the ATS bots, I'll get an interview. Okay, I have to take a deep breath for this one because ATS systems are wildly misunderstood. It's kind of like the topic I was referring to earlier with my pilot example. So many people are giving advice, writing articles, how to get past the bots and the ATS, but they've never actually used an ATS before. I have 15 years of experience using a variety of ATSs, so please listen closely. A human still controls them. A human, the recruiter, typically still posts the job. A human or the recruiter sets those knockout questions like, do you have a bachelor's degree? Do you have 3+ years of experience? Do you hold X certification? So when you're feeling like I get auto rejected, there might be a knockout question like that, like a bachelor's degree, because maybe that's a policy for that organization to hire people who have a certain degree. Or maybe it's a requirement for a certain job to have a specific certification. So they can establish those questions in there, but a human is putting those questions in there. And it may knock you out, and then you get the generic thanks but no thanks email. But just keep in mind, it's all done by a human. A recruiter is making these decisions. So you're not fighting a robot. You're matching yourself to the requirements of the job that the recruiter, like a human, is establishing. Another thing I often hear is people saying, I got rejected at 2 a.m, probably by a bot. Honestly, recruiters are very busy. They're not just managing the job that you're applying for. They probably have 40, 50 other jobs that they're managing as well. So I even remember when I was recruiting, if I couldn't sleep one night, I'd go open a job folder in my bed and look and have to start going through candidates and rejecting. There's a very good chance that it was a recruiter who sent that rejection email, unfortunately. My point for even bringing that up is because your resume is still being viewed by human eyes way more often than you think, which is again why it's so important to make sure that you are tailoring your resume for every job that you apply for. I'm going to get into that a little bit more in part 2. But right now, we're halfway done with this topic. Part 2 goes into even more myths, like I said, like AI and a few other topics that are frustrating out there and that I read and I'm like, no, I got to set the record straight. So make sure you hit subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get notified when part 2 comes out. Reach out below with any other questions. I'll see you in the next one.